Camera action. We have one waiting, which is me.
You are live. It is saying, welcome to the
Amazing.
stream, everybody. Welcome to Adapt's Crypto's special stream. Harry, how is it going, man?
Doing great. How are you, Marsh?
Doing all right. It's a Sunday. It's a little rainy here, but opportunity is just massive still. At any given second, you could make the right move and change your life. So
Yeah, as we always do on Sundays, we have these live streams here where you guys chill me you all, so the three of you watching. But you guys can watch this back later. So keep that in mind. I always do the Bitcoin part in the beginning, so I recommend you guys watch the Bitcoin part at least, and get an update on Bitcoin because some interesting things have happened. I think we start with that.
definitely
What do
the
you think?
video will still be valid at least for a little bit. So we appreciate your time and attention. And
Let's get
without
into it.
further delay, let's get into the chart. I mean, maybe you can smash the like. I really don't want to tell you what to do. Just like with trading, this is not financial advice. But what's going on with Bitcoin, Harry?
Well, you see Bitcoin here. It had this pump, right, and resolved our range here towards the upside, but now it's doing something a bit strange here. And I'll tell you why this has happened. We obviously got rejected here at the all-time high pivot, which I was expecting a
Mm,
rejection, but we got rejected quite heavily, and you can see we came directly back into the range, actually closing the 4 hour back into the range as well, which is not a good sign, right?
mm,
And normally that's implies continuation to the bottom side of the range, which we already got, right? So
yeah.
whenever we get that closure, we could expect the continuation to fill the range that we have, and we did fill it already and now bouncing up. So why did this happen? Well, basically over the weekend you have funding rate, right? And when the funding rate starts to rises, if someone's holding $1 million position, then they're going to be charged 10,000. And when in the weekend when price is moving slowly or there's not much volume, then people are most likely, instead of paying the 10,000 fees, just to sell their position, take the profits, and this is what it causes, this profit taking move here. So
Interesting.
yeah.
So if there's not a lot of price action or sort of excitement about the coming week, then those big whales are going to close out their positions over the weekend, and that will dip the market just through that, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Well, if coming into the week there could be excitement, but they don't want to pay maybe over the weekend 20 to 30 thousand dollars in fees
Well,
just to yeah,
I know I
just
wouldn't want to do that if I.
so they rather just take it off the table and re-enter at a different area or layer in their entries, right?
Mm,
So another thing to keep in consideration here is also we have the Coinbase IPO coming up, right? And for me, I'm in a difficult position because this is what I was expecting, right? I was expecting this to happen leading up to the Coinbase IPO. It's just how IPOs work, hype the market, and then normally a day before listing or a day after listing, we do see some type of pullback. But I'm wondering, the date today is the 11th and the IPO listing is on the 14th. So in 3 days, are we going to be able to push above to the $65,000 area? And the only condition that will do that is on the daily time frame here is if we get a closure above 61,176,
mm,
looking where prices closed the previous day, it has closed above this resistance here. So if we take away all drawings, it has closed above this resistance, which should imply to the top of the range, which unfortunately we already got, right?
mm,
So
yeah.
that's the thing, right? So we got that move already. So now we need a closure above 61,169, to get to get our movement towards 65,000. So we have to see that happen, right? And we're seeing a counter trend move here. I mean, looking at the weekly as well, weekly will close today. And if it does close anywhere above 58,996, then I do think coming into next week, we do see continuation towards the upside. I just
Mm,
want to see out of interest where these Bollinger Bands are coming at, just out of interest. Yeah, so the topside Bollinger Band is coming in around this area here. So, you
Uh,
know, until we
65.
start,
Okay.
of course, yeah, closing above that, we're back in trending move. But I'm just, they're not really telling me much, to be honest. But I do want to see momentum on the daily, to be honest. Daily momentum is getting out this zone here,
Mm.
which is not the best to see. And we are crossing up soon, which is obviously a positive when daily momentum will start to cross up. 4 hour momentum will be down. So yeah, I expect this to come down a little bit more, to be honest.
Yeah, what's the sort of the lower targets that you're looking at if this really does get rejected back down?
Well, to be honest, it's not bad at all, and there's only one condition that's gonna do it, and the condition is that if we close the 4 hour below this pivot here, so I'm gonna keep this in and draw a short-term pivot, and if we do close the 4 hour below this area here, then I do see us filling all the way back to 57,000. But the only
Mm.
issue with that is that on the weekly time frame, it will make us close below the weekly pivot, right? Which is very, very important. Again,
Okay.
guys, on the weekly, we have to close for us to have that continuation coming this week. We need to close above that 58,900. We'll just say 59,000. We need to close above that. But if we do close back in the range and get a deeper move, then that condition won't be made. And then I have to come back and reanalyze it. But keep in mind that I'm not bearish on this chart until we start closing candles below
Yeah.
55,900, right? Because again, it's holding a very clear high-low structure, and you can see that on CMEs. But this dump is good because it's reset the CME chart, right? So we can see now on the CME chart, we're not going to have that gap because 58,700 is where CMEs are. So we won't have that runaway gap, and it might actually become a professional gap in that terms, right?
Okay. Yeah, no, it's always good to see that gap filled because that does cause people to freak out a little bit.
Yeah,
Which,
exactly.
yeah, no,
So
I'm
yeah,
obviously excited about the Coinbase IPO and a lot of things coming in the future, just in general for crypto. But as we know, the news doesn't always drive the charts. Sometimes you can see the news in the charts itself, and I don't know. I guess I'm more of a psychic trader or something. Maybe sometimes I don't analyze all the charts perfectly, but I'm just not feeling the same sort of excitement that I was feeling earlier in this year. Basically, I don't feel that frenzy the same way. I don't know how you feel about that, Harry.
yeah, I mean, this is the time when Bitcoin is going to move, right? I mean, what's happening now is like I'm not saying price action is going to follow, but it's a possibility. But if you guys all remember this area here, when we were down here, right? It was
Mm,
terribly boring down here in
right.
this area here, right? When we had this dump and it was boring, and then you have this explosive price actions.
Yeah, that's
Similar to
right.
what's happened now is we're in a boring range. And if we do, and when people don't look at the charts, that's normally the time it's going to move, right? But people are confused at the moment. Is it Bitcoin? Is it old season? Sorry, is it old season? Is it, we have Bitcoin dominance, crashing here,
Mm,
right? Closing below this pivot here, implied continuation, even possibility coming down. It hit my first target here at 55,000. I'm sorry, 55%.
right.
And my next target is all the way down here at 53%. So,
Exactly.
but the alts are not really following, right? Look at this. It's every alt I
No,
have
no, I
here
haven't.
is all red, 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 and red.
That's
You
yeah. What do
know,
you make of that? That the price action is not following, even though the dominance is still continuing to flip.
even Ethereum BTC, which you would normally see if Bitcoin dominance is going down, you'd normally see that, all right, we've had a small pop, but at the end of the day, what is that pop that we've had in, let's say, the last few days has been sideways, right? And as
Mm,
that Bitcoin dominance went down and continues to go down, okay, we got the initial pop of 20%, great. But that initial pop of 20%, we also did get in normal Ethereum right here, right?
right.
So it's not that the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing, I mean, like the Bitcoin pairings are doing better, right? We did get that pop in the normal Ethereum price, So it's a bit confusing, and I think that's left a lot of people confused.
Yeah, it's the same story with ETH. I mean, there's been so much great news. People looking at an ETF and all sorts of funds jumping up there. But as I was looking at my gas tracker today, we're hovering around like 86 gas, sub 100 gas numbers, which makes
Yeah,
the swaps a lot cheaper, which is nice. But it also speaks to the fact that not a lot of people are using the Ethereum network at this exact moment.
it's true. I mean,
What are you
it's
guys
pretty
doing out
obvious
there?
where they are.
Keep trading.
Pretty, they're in BNB, right?
Right. I guess a lot of people have John. Yeah, that's something I've been
Yeah.
looking at too.
I mean, you
Volume
can see.
is much larger, or not much larger, but it's larger on PancakeSwap than it is on Uniswap at this
Right.
moment.
Here's your classic breakout, right? You have your test, your higher lows. You break above this resistance that I was talking about, and that's
Mm,
why I don't need to draw these shapes and just draw support and resistance. I said as soon as we get above this one,
mm,
wait for some sort of pullback, as I always say in my daily videos.
yeah.
Here's your pullback. Wait for the closure on the lower time frames. Of course, you could have scaled in on the 4 hour. That's your scaling in position. I would have personally, if I was my position, I would have taken the position here and had to. Okay, it would have gone down, right? But my stop loss would have been something, like this,
Right.
right? And then that's your position, and that's how you would have scaled into that
Seems
position.
like that would have been a pretty good position.
Yeah, it would.
Oh
But
man.
yeah, we have some alts we have to get through. We have Coty here. So let's have a look at that. Um,
Yeah, people still excited about it. I mean, but this is a great story for this sort of moment in time. Caudy has amazing fundamentals. Does seem like it's really going to go someplace long term, but the chart looks a little different
no,
than that.
yeah. I mean, it's coming down to my target here. As you can see, we had a bounce off the first pivot here. We broke through it. We closed below. As soon then we got a small retrace, and then now breaking down. So my next target here is 0.33. If we do break that, we're coming down easily to 0.26. If
Mm,
we do hold it, I need to see what it does, but it's in it's very clear. It's either it starts bouncing and making its way up or goes sideways, but it needs to hold this support. Wick's fine, but it needs to hold this support here at 0.33. Otherwise, we're coming down to 0.26. What else we got? We got LIT.
interesting. So even on these alts, you're still looking at the dailies for the actual
They'll have the
entries that you're
strongest.
making. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll have the strongest. I look at them for pivots, but if I was to enter, I would enter on a smaller time frame,
Yeah,
right?
of course.
You would see structure. Like it's obvious to see. Like I would show you how you would know. So you'd have this. On the daily, this is a small pullback, one candle pullback, right? But you can see here, looking at structure, as soon as you get that 30-minute closure below, right here, breaking this structure,
Right.
you get the continuation, right? That
Yeah.
huge continuation all the way down here. So
Yeah,
I
that's an
mean,
insane wick, huh?
yeah, it's all depends on what the market's doing, right? Why
No, of
can't I find
course.
LIT?
Yeah, even with the dominance heading towards alts, there still seem to be following mostly just exactly what's going on in the King's price action,
Indeed.
which I guess is to be expected.
All right. This looks nice, to be honest, LIT. I mean,
It's
daily
lit.
momentum. It's not as strong as I would hope it would to be. We had this pivot here. So we have rising lows. It has to hold these lows. You can see this
Mm,
pretty clearly, right?
yeah,
Looks something like that. Uh,
but it
this
looks like it
technically
might
would
might
have
head
been
back
the
down to the
breakout.
lows there.
Yeah, I mean, this technically would have been the breakout here. Closing back in the range is a problem.
Mm,
But what happens if we start taking, so now we can go to a 4 hour and start refining this stuff. So yeah, now we can see that on a 4 hour, we need to start getting above this heavy resistance here. As soon as we start closing it, look how many times price failed to close above this here, 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 here. You get the point. Failed. So I think when we do get a closure above this resistance, we will see some upside. But otherwise it's looking good. The price action is looking healthy, but Stokes a bit more to the downside. Looks like they might cross up here. See how that goes.
mm.
We have another request for Alpha here.
Alpha Homora. Yeah, Andre Cronje's sort of empire has been sort of sleeping for quite some time, and I think everybody's curious what's going to happen there because all of the projects in the Yearn ecosystem have a very strong fundamentals, but that does look like it's breaking the trend.
It is. So I was saying here, if we do get a strong bullish closure, and I remember talking about this in my video, this is not a strong bullish closure, right?
Mm,
And what you guys have to understand is that when you have big wicks like this is a sign that don't take the move. This is price getting rejected.
yeah,
You know, how can you if the candle doesn't want to push through it in the first pass, why would it push through it in the second pass, right? You would have to let it push up, make another resistance. Then when it breaks this area here, that's when you can catch the move. And that's how price action works. So simply said, not strong bullish closure, retest failed, right? You would
yeah,
always wait for retest, clear failure of retest, breaking the range. And now you get it on the opposite side, right? So what I was saying, what we wanted to look for price to go up, we got for price to go down, right? So now this is gonna make you guys laugh. So the conditions I wanted to for price to continue up, look how they work now when you get the price for downside. So now what have we got? We've got a strong bearish closure,
mm,
right? We wanted a strong bullish. So now watch how this works. So we get the strong bearish closure, confirmation one. We get that retest, now closing back within the range. Then you get the continuation. See, that's what the condition is to
okay,
get the continuations. So that's all those things I didn't say. What I was saying here, you didn't get the strong bullish closure. There was no retest, so no continuation. But now on the opposite side of it, you get the strong bearish closure, the retest, and then the breakdown. Very simple price action here,
right,
right? So where do I think this is going to go? Well, it's just about to hit my first target here at 1.48. That's my first target, 1.48. And then I think ultimately, if it doesn't bounce there, it's going to come here and break. But if it does break this 1.48, then it's looking like structure break, right? So we could expect easily, of course, down here and then some sideways. Very boring,
yeah.
this is what I'm saying about these alts. Where, it's nothing exciting, right? Nothing exciting,
Right,
you know?
unless you're catching a 50x. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, so just to play a hypothetical, if that last green candle had closed with less of a wick, there would have been more of a chance for a continuation upside move.
Well, candles tell you everything at the end of the day because that's what you look at.
Yeah,
No indicator, everything. They're all made on candles, right?
yeah,
Reason why Stokes turned down here is because you see right on that candle, the Stokes turning down. Why did
yeah.
the Stokes turn down? Because the candle was strong bearish.
Right,
You know what I mean? On this candle here, they already started turning down. But we know that from the candle because the candle is weak bullish.
yeah,
So obviously the momentum is not towards the upside.
right.
Stokes are turning down,
Momentum is
correct?
down. Yeah,
Yeah, so same thing. If we were to get a strong bullish candle, this would continue upwards, right? And we would get the Stokes turning up. So the all
that makes
indicators,
sense.
you just can read the candles, right? And you can see how momentum works. We have PCX.
Yeah, I mean, I like indicators, but it's funny how it's just it's a total industry, and so many people are trying to sell their expensive
Is
indicator
PCX this new?
subscriptions.
PCX been going on for a while. It can't be this new.
Oh well, they
Check on
just got
Dexter.
listed on KuCoin. They were,
Yeah.
and it's not going to be on Dex Tools because they are. That's the interesting thing about Chain X or PCX is that they bypassed Ethereum completely. They went directly to Polkadot and Substrate, and they have only been listed on sort of smaller exchanges, which I think is why it's gone completely under the radar because it has insanely strong fundamentals. I think it's going to be a very important part of the Polkadot ecosystem. And I was actually hoping for a little more price action on this KuCoin listing, but it doesn't seem to have done anything quite yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's not much to say about this, guys. I mean, clear base. We do have a beautiful base. If this breaks worrying, we have a clear resistance. We have a range, right? So you can see prices holding this base 1, 2, 3. We close below that. Bye bye. Probably come back down here to 9. Close above this, starts looking good again.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say, to be
it would be
honest.
unfortunate. I'm just looking up real quick. I don't know if TradingView will bring up the older chart of it. It was on MXC for a really long time, and also Gate.io. But it doesn't look like
So,
it's coming up anywhere there. So on TradingView, so probably yet another reason why it really is sort of going under the radar.
what's this? India
Or
Limited.
no,
I don't know.
MXC. I guess that's that's an Indian company trying to trick you into trading with them instead. MXC is the more popular exchange. Some interesting
Oh
projects
man,
on here.
I can't just get to it.
Yeah, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
okay.
I mean, go back
No
to find it.
worries. Yeah, I mean it has done about a 10x over this, obviously during this bull run period, but yeah, curious to see what happens there.
So let's look at OVR. And, wow, let's see. Oh no, what are you sending me, guys? Oh no, oh
Yeah,
no.
but that's how a lot of these like super new small caps have been going this past week, just sort of cratering, which is
Wow, look at that,
interesting.
guys. I mean, I don't have much to say about this. Low volume, clear, heavy downtrend, dumping. I mean, what the hell is that scam wick? Uh,
Yeah,
you just
that's
have to, with this thing, looks like it's trying to put in a base here, right? But with these things, you have to wait for it to put a base and then it will continue going with news. But it's a downtrend otherwise, guys. It's a downtrend. Obviously, where's your base? Going to be somewhere down here, right? Could it put in a base here? Yeah, it could. Many people thought it would have done it here, but nope, no, it didn't. So same thing can happen here, right? So we'd have to see. We also have Eland. What is Eland? You
yeah.
know what Eland?
I'm sure I'm not alone. I mean, I have fallen into this occasionally where you fall in love with a project, you think it's going to be really exciting for the future, and you read all their white papers and information and everything, and then the price action basically does that, and you're left sort of hoping, and the resistances keep getting sort of blown through. And I guess the smarter move is to just exit as soon as you're noticing a trend reversal.
Well, no one got angry at you for taking profits, right? So I think it's very important to do that, you know, at
Yeah,
the end of the day,
of course.
take profits, take your initial, take some profits on the table, and just be happy. There's always time to re-enter,
Mm.
you know. So this chart,
Eland, I'm not familiar with
yeah, I've
that
never
one.
heard of that. Etherland it's called.
Not
I
familiar with
mean,
that
it's
one.
not doing well, whatever it is. I mean, it looks like it wants to come down here. Not much to say again with this type of chart. Uh, it's a clear dump, right? Clear blow off top. But still, structure is not broken till it breaks all the way down here at 0.10. But until then, you just have to wait for this again to put in a base. More downside. Until a base is put in, more downside.
Hmm.
What's a base going to look like? Structure flip. Let it come down here, start flipping structure. That's a base. If it comes down again, no problem. But as soon as we see that type of stuff, this is a base being put out. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I guess that's the question when you're looking at dumping coins like this, when you're actually going to enter like this OVR. It does seem like it may be done bottoming out here, but I guess there's no telling until
Well,
it,
that's what
it
people thought here, right?
exactly.
And
Yeah.
then it started pumping. Everyone FOMO'd in here. You can see from that wick,
Yeah.
boom, you get dumped on. And this is the frustrating thing.
Mm.
It's so hard with these projects, right? I
No, of
mean,
course. But I guess your warning sign would be that gigantic wick there in that little decamp bounce there.
yeah, it would be. But I mean, like, let's say you entered somewhere around here, 28%, and then immediately dumped 4% down.
Mm.
Yeah, it's just hard, right? And then after dumping, pumped another 12, 13%, and then gives you a nice 24% dump. So it's all over the
Yeah.
place, very hard to manage a position like that.
Well, I mean, people have short attention spans in general these days, but especially low cap launch Uniswap traders have very low attention spans, and oftentimes they'll just move on to the next project. once the price action slows down, and then it is far harder for these projects to recover. That's what I've noticed.
Mm. Yeah, that's the issue. The people, eh?
Yeah, I mean, I do have sort of two that I would love you to look at just along this line. One that is
Go
sort
ahead.
of sad, and one that is a little better looking. Split is one that I've been watching recently. SPLYT. Yeah,
ShopX, yes.
ShopX.
Yeah,
Which
this is,
again,
I was interested in this, but when I looked at the chart, it's not best, right?
no.
I mean, we have to wait for it to put in a base. Does it put in a base here? Most likely, yeah. It's coming back to where it launched at, right? Or where we have price data
Yeah,
on. And I need more sideways action. So what you want to see, what you want to see for a base is you want to see this. So you want to see it base. You want to see it stop making higher lows. Everyone will get FOMO'd in. People will dump again. But when it dumps that time again, you want to see this base hold. If it
right.
holds twice, okay, it's based out now, right? And now I would be taking buys, accumulating. And then I know, okay, if it starts closing below this base, my bad. And this is the risk you have to take,
Right.
right? But if that's how I want a base to look like. I want to see higher highs, higher lows, and then a dump, and that dump to come back to the base. When it comes back to the base, I want to see that hold strong, and then I start taking buys.
Interesting. Okay, so I mean, that's a pretty straightforward strategy. That seems like it would be lower risk than I guess your
Mm.
average Uniswap trade. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm curious
indeed.
to see what happens with ShopX because they do seem like they have a good product. But yeah, it completely sold off, just like a lot of things this week seem to be doing in this sort of market range. Yeah, but just to look at a chart that's a little more optimistic, Cards has been doing very well this week. CARDS, if that will come
Hard
up, yeah,
starter.
yeah, Card Starter.
Let's get that air horn, please. Let's
It's just
go.
been rocketing. And obviously, in hindsight, this makes a lot of sense with everybody sort of abandoning, not completely abandoning, but leaving Ethereum network for other
What is card
opportunities.
starter?
CardStarter is basically a launchpad platform that will be launching new DeFi projects on Cardano because Cardano is going to be doing their Merry hard fork. I'm going to post a video a little bit later
So
about.
it's like a pancake swap, but for Cardano.
Well, it's like a paid network or a Polka starter, but for Cardano. So
Ah,
they're going to be incubating projects and also launching projects. And then if you trust CardStarter, then you can trust the project that's launching on it because people love to scam, and so a lot of
like
people have turned
paid, you
to.
have to have, would you have tiers and stuff like that to get allocation into these?
Exactly, but the projects, if you actually want to list your project with paid, you have to be a legit project basically, because paid is going to vet you and run you through the ringer. And I guess that's the plan with CardStarter, that they will be only listing legit cool projects on Cardano when the Merry Hard Fork happens. So, but this is obviously all like sort of rumors and speculation. We don't actually know if people are going to adopt Cardano for DeFi. That's just the hope. And I guess everybody is trading CardStarter on this hope because it did about a 50x.
Mm. Let's just tap my target. You can
Yeah,
see we're
but
getting a
that's
small
my question.
pullback.
Is it done? It seems like it might be have
Small pullback, This is,
yeah,
I mean, it's hype. This one's based on hype.
exactly.
It looks good. I mean, if you have a solid project like this, it's gonna keep trending. It's you trend your friend. Just watch the 1 hour time frame until the 1 hour trend breaks, then start questioning. Even you can push it to 4 hour. Yeah, 4 hour will work. Where's your 4 hour trend? Right here. So until that breaks, you have, it could come all the way back down,
Mm.
base here, and then start going up. But I would definitely be taking profits. No harm in taking profits.
Oh, definitely.
This
Did,
long wick is something you haven't seen before, so it's a change in trend. So maybe profit taking here could be good. But again, the next candle could just pop up crazy, right?
right.
Have this hype movement.
Yeah, but that's the thing I noticed now since we were talking about candles and wicks and everything. That is quite a wick that we're seeing just in this last 4 hour period.
It
So
is, it is. You know what I forgot about? My candle drawing tool.
uh, Yeah, yeah. I was wondering about that. You were
It's
so
back.
excited about your candle drawing tool.
It's
Um,
back. It's back. But I need to remember where is my rectangle. Shapes. Where's shapes, shapes, shapes? Ah, there we are. Yeah, so what we could expect is, maybe if this based on hype, we could see the next candle pop up like this, you know. Haha.
yeah, looking
Or
good.
or at the other end, right? What we could sometimes have is now you could expect that small pullback from here like this, breaking structure, and yeah, then you'd have a small dump. And then you'd look for it to put in a base somewhere here. And then you can get that continuation
Right,
towards the upside.
right. If it keeps going. But I know, I mean, yeah, usually projects when they do something like a 50x or more, people start to get a little skittish, and that can sort of affect the prospects going forward, because traders will
Indeed,
start to
indeed.
move on. I guess it's just hard to know. With obviously, it's all so speculative, and none of this is financial advice. But I noticed Card Starter right when it launched and was like, well, this looks like a great chart, but I think it's topped out already. And then it went on to do another 20x, and then I feel a little not smart for
We have a
not going hard
request
on
for
it.
BNB from someone named Saad. I don't know who that is. Some strange guy here. Maybe from Dubai,
Nice.
strange guy. But no, I know who he is. It's one of our fans from Dubai. So shout
Oh,
out to
nice.
all our fans in Dubai. BNB. Let's have a look at BNB. Nice price action on BNB. You can see we broke out of our structure. We were looking at this in the beginning, right? But it's very heated here. Look at momentum all the way up there. I don't think we've ever seen it get to this point. You see, I think this is the
Mm,
last time it got to this point, it had a massive dump, right? So the last time I got to this point was right here. So we'll draw a line just to see what happened, just out of interest, right? No harm. And yeah, what happened in that point?
ooh, that was way back in the day.
But I had a pretty nasty dump, eh?
Yep.
So, it's something to keep into consideration that we are getting high on momentum. I would be looking for a pullback soon. But does it continue after that pullback? That's the question, right? So if I were to take out of this whole base here, targets, right? And we were to take from here all the way up to here, technically we still have some upside room, right? Looking just at targets here. We're
Mm,
very close, but you can see it caught the first target perfectly, right here. As soon as we touch that, we got a dump,
yep.
continued above, closed above. Now, so you could have a small move of, somewhat 8%. Not worth it if you're looking to jump in, if you ask me.
Right.
I would wait for a greater pullback. And we'll see what happens with the whole BNB ecosystem. Because if, Ethereum starts getting its gears going, if, Cardano and all of these start performing, then, BNB is going to lack maybe.
Yeah, it was obviously the hottest alternative to get into basically at the beginning of the year, but it has caught a lot of hype already, and I don't know. It doesn't quite have the ecosystem isn't quite doesn't have the growth, at least for me. I don't want to FUD Binance Smart Chain, but there obviously are a lot of sort of clone projects and scams that have been going on Binance Smart
Yeah.
Chain, and so I was hoping for a little more sort of professional growth by this point, because it's been on the radar for a lot of developers for quite some time, but I
I think
still
it
have
just
yet
grew
to.
really from TikTok, to be honest.
Yeah,
I mean, this is, what was it? Safe Moon. I mean, this was on BNB,
yeah, exactly.
and
Yeah.
people all. So I think this growth is just generally from. I don't. To be honest, guys, this is a hype bubble. It's not sustainable at all. I wouldn't
Mm.
be relying on this. I mean, if you want to invest in crypto, it's great to ride these hype bubbles if you can catch them. But if you're looking for an investment and something that you want to do well, I don't think, of course, Mr. CZ can surprise us, but it doesn't seem like they have any plans. It's just kind of an
Yeah.
alternative, to just help people in the short term.
Well, and problem I think also is obviously America is the problem country with all the regulations, but a lot of traders actually can't get on the real Binance, and the Binance that's in the U.S. is really just doesn't have that many projects on it. Isn't that robust? Doesn't have the launchpad stuff and all that stuff. I mean, you can still get onto Binance Smart Chain as an American. That's not really a huge problem. But it just doesn't feel as sort of open as maybe some of these other ecosystems. And I think that's why that Cards project was pumping so insanely, because people have opinions about Cardano as well, but are definitely looking to see what happens when they develop their DeFi sort of smart contract system. And so I've heard sort of through the looking glass, what's the phrase, that Cardano is looking more at sort of institutional projects, more professional grade projects for their DeFi ecosystem. So,
which is obviously better for us long-term investors.
yeah.
We have a question coming in here, and it's asking, do any of you know about SOL, which I'm guessing is Solana, right?
Yeah, that's another sort of acronym that means something else. But yeah, let's check out Solana. Yeah, there's a lot of different projects now looking to. They're basically looking to eat Ethereum's lunch, because everybody is sick of the gas fees, and so many projects from Cardano, Polkadot, Avalanche, but a lot of people have been looking at Solana to see what's going on there. Yeah.
I mean, I remember we were talking about this project from a while back, not on the TA, but just in our group and everything.
Yeah.
It's had a big move already. Targets from this move. It's front ran that target a bit. Yeah, so I mean, if you were to take it from this base, would it be more accurate? No, it wouldn't. I mean, TA perspective, it's had a huge pump. Well, could it come down? Yeah, it could easily come down to here, 23. What do I think about the project? At the end of the day, it's a gamble of which ecosystem is going to do better, right? It's a race to the top, right? Who's going to beat Ethereum, or who's going to provide a solution that I don't think Ethereum will ever be beaten. I think Ethereum will always hold strong. Institutions have their grip on it. But it's who's offering the Pepsi to Coca-Cola, right?
Right.
And at the end of the day, there will be one. Whoever you put your bets on is up to you. Who team you trust, who you feel will do the best, and the price action will follow, right? You'll get rewarded if you get that correct.
No, of course.
And that's what I think.
I mean, I'm personally a big fan of Polkadot and everything that's being built up there, but it still is quite a ways away. And yeah, you can drive yourself a little crazy. I remember looking at Binance Smart Chain before the gigantic pump that happened and thinking, well, this is not going to go anywhere. And I was obviously wrong. A lot of people have made a lot of money off that this hype bubble that's happening.
Oh
right
no,
now,
someone asking about XRP. Ban him. Please ban him. Ban him. spam the soundboard.
I'm sorry.
Number one project.
Yeah, XRP to $100. Guys,
you need to get it straight, please. Ripple is the company. They are doing stuff in real life that is actually useful. And they have a lot of lawsuits against them, which is not useful. But anyways, they're trying to do stuff. But they don't use XRP, the token. They don't use it. It has no utility. It just has a name behind it. It's like having Coca-Cola, but not having the product Coke do anything. No one can drink it.
Yeah.
It's like, Coca-Cola is good.
Well,
anyways, I do think I have it on my list. It is pumping, guys. It is pumping. I don't know why this person keeps asking me about projects that I've already pumped. It's like, okay, I'll just show him this. Check this out. Let's go on a daily time frame. All right. In the past, what have you seen? The same shit. Pumps, falls right back.
Yeah.
pumps, falls right back. Now we're getting a pump. What do you expect will happen anytime soon? It'll have hype, guys. In 2017, we saw this thing rise to, huge numbers.
Yeah.
This year, what can we have? I mean, what is a good exchange with XRP on it?
Oh, I mean, they took it off Coinbase. They took it off a bunch of things.
Yeah,
It's on Kraken right now. What is it even on right now? Binance, obviously. I think Binance has the most volume.
on volume. I want the most data.
Yeah.
Kraken would have had the most data.
Yeah, it was on Kraken for quite some time.
But we have it
but
against
yeah,
Canadian
obviously,
dollar.
the show is still
Yeah.
not financial advice. It never will be. But if you're looking for projects to actually profit off of, I would maybe stay away from the overhyped multi-billion-dollar market cap projects because
We've got it. This is what it does. It's a classic Ripple. It comes up, it dumps quickly, and then it does nothing. No utility, no utility, no price action. Pop, comes back down. No price action. Pop, we don't know where it will come back down. It's just there's nothing to go off. There's no team developing. There's no news. The only news you have about Ripple is an XRP is, oh, they've solved this lawsuit. Oh, let's pump the price 50%. It's like,
I mean, I do believe they are going to get cleared of the lawsuit and then get relisted on Coinbase and a couple of other exchanges, and then you probably will see a little more price action from that point. But the other point is that, like, guys, this is like the billionaire banker coin, as they say. They're getting very rich off you speculating on this coin and then dumping on you and then rebuying it again. It's very obvious just looking at the chart what's going on there.
Yeah.
It's different than Bitcoin's chart, right? Bitcoin is a different ball game.
Robert Kiyosaki, right? I highly respect him. Pretty good guy. The author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He invested in XRP. We all know why he's dumping on you. Don't worry. This guy knows that it would have this hype. He's not investing. Never in his investment has he said that he's investing in this for its potential. He said it's an investment. And if you've all, listened to that guy or read about him, he's in it for the money. He's trying to avoid any tax, anything to do with all of this. So he's just, he's playing it smart. So what is he going to do? He's going to buy in and sell. If you're making money from XRP, that's great. That's your job. But please don't come, if you can give me a lot of information as to why XRP will be the next greatest thing in the future, I can sit here corrected, right? But I want to see the facts, and the facts have not shown in price action. Like if you look at something like Bitcoin and you put it on a weekly chart and you tell me, this is a lot more healthy, right? I'm seeing, let's go on BLX that has actually, more price data.
Yeah.
And
you can see exponential growth a little bit.
Right? And if we put it something like this,
yeah, especially with the logarithmic chart, it's one of the most beautiful charts ever made.
Yeah, it's Bitcoin is the only asset, where no matter where you've bought, you're most likely to be in profit. I mean,
exactly.
Even now, if you just bought right now, you're not in major loss, right?
Well, it might get rejected a little bit from here, but all signs really do point to
you're
it.
You're 3% down if you bought from all-time high.
Does seem like it will continue, barring some sort of extreme events in the future. It does look like it's just going to keep going. Yeah, and I think you made a really good point. It is important to, when you're looking at a project, to separate out the hype of the industry or the moment in time, or even the things that project is involved with. Separate that out from the actual coin and the price action of the coin, because just because XRP is involved in sort of CBDCs and banking and some other sort of aspects there, none of us are going to get rich off CBDCs and the transition to that. That's a whole different ball game. And just because you are sort of CBDC adjacent doesn't mean that project is going to make you insane multiples. So
we have the last question here of today.
It's not financial.
We have the last question here of today, which is, why is Ethereum stuck on 2,100? Well, that's a very simple question,
Yeah.
And why is Bitcoin stuck right here, right? I mean, look at the two charts. They look practically the same, right?
Mm.
So it's a resistance. It's a part where price, it's the weekend where price can't. If price does close above this area, yeah, it will continue up. Look at Stokes still in the bullish zone. I'm not bearish on Ethereum until it closes below 1963. So as long as we're above that, this thing it's not stuck, it's the weekend. It's Ethereum, it's been lagging, but we've seen some more price action at the moment. It's having a bit of an upside move. And I do look for my targets to be hit, right? At 2,300, 2,500.
Mm.
But it's just at a resistance, right? This is a price
Yeah, I mean
resistance here. It's just struggling to break it. It's the weekend, doesn't have much volume to do so.
it was lagging behind, but it just did like 30% from that recent bounce or more. I mean, come on, guys.
I'll measure that for you.
What more do you want?
35.
Yeah, like 35%. What more do you want from like the top 5 coins? 30% move
Yeah.
is gigantic, and it just happened. So I wouldn't call it stuck, personally.
Well, if you look about 6 months ago, we're hovering around 300 to 400, so
Yeah.
it's not stuck. It's just
Ethereum is definitely not
it's
stuck.
doing well.
Yes.
I'm happy with it. Thank you, Mr. Ethereum. You're doing well.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, I think with that being said, take care, trade sharp, and thank you, Marsh, for joining today. Appreciate all of you guys hopping on.
Always a
And,
pleasure, man. I feel like I just
every Sunday.
learn stuff hanging out with you, and so I appreciate your time, and I'm sure everybody watching does as well. And yeah, if you're watching, if you made it to the end of the video, you are basically required to smash that like button, because that means you enjoyed the content and you do want to help us out, right? So, right?
Yeah, indeed.
We'll see you soon on a video coming up. I mean, later today. We're constantly cranking out this content, so just get about it, as the Australians say.
Shout out to the Australians.
Exactly.
We have a lot of those.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys. Take care. Peace.
Later.